It is a world of darkness, and the warriors of Gaia fight over the fate of the world against their enemy, the cosmic force of entropy and corruption, the worm. Unbeknownst to mankind, they wage a war against the coming apocalypse, with new cubs taking up the cause to fight with fang and clave and gun and claw. They give the worm no quarter. They give it only rage.
But as you all retreat in through the portal with a few lasting growls and roars of your elders, you feel an immediate sensation of ascension as you run through the moonbridge, before it then levels out and you begin to descend, the scent of wilderness in the air ahead, cold, pure air, pine trees and the like. And on the other end, you see a tall man with dark, night-black hair, piercing eyes, and very distinguished and distinctively Native American features. His voice is strong and clear as he wears his traditional native garb, in the addition to a heavy black coat. Welcome, pups of the Sept of the Green. I am the warden of this cairn. There is food and shelter for you. Tomorrow, you will begin your Rite of Passage.
Darren shifts back to Hamid.
Now naked.
Very naked.
And it's fucking cold. Any of you who shift back to your Hamid forms, your breed forms, for most of you, will immediately note, though it was winter in New York, it is freezing here. The air distinctively frigid and chilly. Even the walls of the cave almost feel slick, as though there's ice waiting to form.
Tara remains in her Hispo form, though instead of, almost at attention posture that she was kind of at, ready to flee at a moment's notice from, fleeing from the elders, she kind of relaxes a bit more now.
Thank you.
He does not answer.
Snarls would remain in lupus form, and looking around, is there anything that he would observe or find that's out of the ordinary or just interesting?
Nothing that is distinctly out of the ordinary, though you do smell food which makes your mouth slick with a sensation of hunger. Decent food at that. And you can feel there is warmth near. Warmer air coming from a space that's been set aside for you, as promised by the warden.
Maybe go to the food?
He doesn't seem to answer your question, rather rewarding you with a chilling stare before turning. Where you find a warm pot of venison stew over a banked fire in a pit. You will also find warm blankets by the dozen, and a wool blanket that has been hung over the mouth of the cavern to keep out the cold. There is winter, and the snow on the ground is plentiful. The only warm place around is the cave. And since you haven't any decent food and for some time, this should be a welcomed treat. The warden waits only long enough for you to be inside and returns any question with another chilling stare before leaving.
There are bowls, right?
Yes, there are. Several bowls and big, heavy wooden spoons.
Are there enough bowls for everyone, or are there more?
There's about 6.
I'm grabbing 2 bowls, scooping some stew up in both and just wolfing down. Blankets be damned.
I will shift to my glabro form to partake of some stew.
Tara will shift to Homid, but relatively quickly thereafter just put a blanket over her and then go to get some food.
I think I'll do the same.
Smells
Dave, the only one with clothes left.
Smells would attempt to get food, picking it up with his mouth still in lupus form and trying to scoop up any stew in the...
Roll stamina really quick.
Does resilient apply?
Yes. All of you watch as the lupus approaches the pot, sticking his muzzle into it, and begins biting at the food, immediately throwing back its head, wolfing down the food, huffing heavily, its whole body and diaphragm uttering out these hot breaths as he's desperate both to eat, but also to not burn his fucking face and tongue, and as he keeps going back for seconds and thirds.
After I finish both bowls of stew, which shouldn't be very long, I get a third, nudge him aside with my foot, scoop some up and put it on the floor for him.
At this point,
And then he refills both his own bowls.
At this point, Smells, he's had enough. He's just going, sitting on a blanket, simply waiting.
After having eaten, well, at least some food by this point, she'll look up to Darren and just kind of say, "What the hell were you doing back there?"
I thought they were trying to kill us. I forgot about the hazing.
It was the harrying, carrying us into the Rite of Passage to guide us.
Like I said, I forgot. Is anyone near the blankets right now?
Nah, though Tara has covered up her nudity with one.
I thought someone was still standing by them. I'd go off and get one. Just wrap around my by my waist like a towel.
Tara just keeps eating.
Hey, Darren, can I talk to you for a sec?
Yeah, sure do.
He's gonna slide over and keep it on the down low here. Hey, bro, you can't be calling people retarded here. Not in the back, right? It ain't right. It's frowned upon. Just messed, right?
Oh, I didn't
It
know
ain't
it was
right.
didn't know it was that bad. It's just, sure.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Just don't say it again, right?
You testy about that kind of stuff?
I like to keep it safe, sacred here, right? I like to follow the litany. I like to follow the rules here, right? I don't wanna break that shit. It's just important. That's what keeps us together. That's what brought this entire group together, right? On top of that, that's what's kept our people alive for so long. Like we can't be fucked around like that.
I get it. I don't mean to interrupt, but I get it. But I mean, we're still late. All right, fine.
Thanks, brother.
You got some food?
Yeah, I got some.
All right, I'm gonna get some more.
All you?
Hey,
He'll slide away and partake of the rest of his stew.
Dave, you got food?
He is currently face in a bowl.
Darren looks over, then looks back to it, then
Raises
looks
a
back.
thumbs up.
He wolfing it down.
He is wolfing it down.
Darren goes get thirds or sixths.
As all of you continue to eat, Snarls is not in a corner, but not at the very center. He's attempting, but not doing so great, as he tries to bite at different parts of his little what are they called again? Sheets, covers, and he tries to cover up himself with it, and he's not doing so great. He's almost making himself look like he's at like the center of a volcano in the sense that it's falling from each side from his body.
Darren, now sufficiently fed, God, goes over and helps him to like tucks it in.
He lifts his head and gives off almost like a half gurgle, a half howl, and his glasses start to fall off his head. He moves his head just before it does, and it hangs almost like on the wolf's forehead, even though it's not quite big. You can see his eyes. They're a pretty blue, almost like the ocean. You can tell he's smiling.
Darren just stands up and turns to the rest of the guys. So what are we doing?
Waiting until tomorrow, I guess.
I'm gonna try and find some nice comfortable pieces lying about. Gonna make a bed so I don't sleep on the stone cold floor, and then I'm going to bed. After that, we worry about tomorrow.
Cool. And yeah, about tomorrow, should we decide who the Zadok is? You know, before everything kind of kicks off?
Tara kind of finishing her food and moving away from the pot, kind of shrugs as she just goes to sit near the mouth of the cave looking outwards. Doesn't look like she has any plan to go to sleep.
Guys?
Yeah, we could probably do with a Zadok. Shit. Gotta be someone who's been around a while.
Darren just kind of looks at D, like seeing if he means Darren or he means himself.
Gotta be one of us two.
Darren nods. Dave, Snarls, you got any opinions?
Yes.
Dave would, wrapping the towel around himself, walk over to the mouth of the cave and sit down and ask, seeming not interested in the conversation at all. How you doing?
She glances over at Dave, just kind of saying, fine. She looks over then to Darren and she just says that the Zadok's got to be someone who has proven that they can lead. Proven that to the rest of the pack.
I'd be honest, and honestly, I'd be saying that I don't think any of us have proven ourselves just yet.
That's what the Rite of Passage is for.
Shit, only thing I got is leading my fam back in the day. Don't know if that's different from this.
I mean, I was a linebacker back in high school. And, I mean, besides all that, thanks, guys, for, you know, being a pack. Back there.
damn right to get your ass handed to you, right? Gotta keep that safe. Part of the pack. Hey, you know how it is.
As conversations go on across the walls, you can see the shadows shift, morph into this massive wolf's head. As you see it grow larger and larger before it begins to once again change in shape and size, as you realize Snarls has begun to gradually shift from the lupus to Hispo and Kronos and still into Galmor, until he finally settles on Hamid. And immediately Snarls, that blanket is getting pulled tight as you're not used to things being this cold. Jesus Christ, how do humans survive?
He, almost instinctively, still wearing his mirror shades, covers his chest because of the cold, not because he's actually, worried about exposing himself, because he is still exposing himself completely. And he walks to the group without a problem whatsoever in his eyes, saying, "Yeah, I don't think that we're quite yet ready. I think perhaps by the end of this."
No, that's a valid point. Yeah, no, we can wait. Right now, the only leader we have is each other.
But what if we get into a fight? It's kind of natural that I take the lead.
It's also true. We do need
like
some strategy. Fight shouldn't just be approached head first.
You mean like a fight that we got into about a couple of minutes ago?
That's
Hey.
something that don't have strategy.
Hey, I was winning till he moved.
But you broke away from the pack.
Hey, I moved before I saw you guys go. I broke away from the pack to save you. I was going down. They're trying to kill us, I'm not gonna go down without a fight. If they focus on me, you guys get away. Those silver bullets. I'm not gonna risk that.
Hey, there's no point in needlessly giving your life for something. This wasn't a life or death thing. This was our beginning to our rite of passage. But if we actually get into a situation where we are genuinely in trouble, don't just needlessly sacrifice yourself. Okay?
I promise it won't be needless. And Darren, holds Tara's gaze for as long as she's willing.
Oh, she doesn't break away.
Oh no, are we having a face down here?
No. It's I'm being incredibly genuine. I promise.
She gives a slight nod. Before she kind of... Well... Whenever things do kind of settle, she kind of looks over to Snarls at Fleas with a little grin as she just says, you should look like that more often.
Snarls would look confused, almost crossing his arm.
I would look over at Snarls and Fleas and say, "Hey there, buddy. Good to see you."
He would still look extremely confused, "Yeah, good to see you too."
Hey, slow down there, buddies. Hey. Did that remind you of the litany? I hope you don't mean what I think you mean.
I'm gonna walk over to Snarls and Fleas and bring him over to the campfire where he can warm up. You're looking cold, buddy.
As Dave starts conversation, he would continue saying, Yeah, I never feel so cold. Weird.
Oh, so that explains it. Darren was kind of back turned, like sitting down at the sitting down. There's jokes behind him.
Hairless apes, fun, I know, right?
If you mean by humans, then yes. But I must say, remaining as Lupus is far better.
What time is it?
Well, you don't know. You weren't really given a clock, but when you were in New York, it was a bit early into the evening. Well, actually, it was maybe around midnight? Here, looks like the light is just kind of gone out of the sky. The moon isn't even fully up. So you're somewhere else in the world. But they're still Native Americans, so you're somewhere in the Western Hemisphere. You know that.
Guys, with that first real food in a week, maybe we want to get as much rest as we can before tomorrow, right?
G setting up his beds, already looking over his shoulder. Uh-huh.
Got you.
Tara kind of like pulled the covers over her more. As she sat down, her knees brought up to her chest as she almost kind of like what's the word? She basically kind of just wrapped up in the corner at the mouth of the cave, but not going to sleep.
Hey, Snarls, why did you change?
I wasn't bothered trying to speak. It gets difficult, you know.
Oh man, barking orders and Chronicles is gonna be tough, right?
Depends. Probably. Unless you're one experienced Garou, which none of us are yet.
No, I guess not. Anyway, if there are any more blankets left, he's gonna take one of them and go like set up a bed for himself. Just in the middle of the floor, I guess. Not so that he's obstructing anything, but doesn't really need to move that much. Uses as a pillow. And just kind of lies there.
As Snarls starts to walk back to he tries to change forms back to Lupus, but he can be more comfortable.
He, after setting up his bed, is going to change into Hispo, because more fur means more warmth. And on his nice little blanket bed with something separating him from the stone floor, he's going to curl up and try to sleep.
Snarls would cover himself with his sheet and have his belly facing upwards under the blanket as he looks, whether it's to the top of the cave or to the sky, but he looks upwards as he attempts to sleep.
Dave will lay at the entrance of the cave so he can get a good view of the stars.